Hello, so my name's Ollie and I am an alcoholic. I've been asked by my friend Ashley to share my experience, strength and hope with you on what happened on my journey to sobriety and ultimately in sobriety. I realise this is for an American audience, so obviously I have a very, very strong Cockney accent, which is a section of London. So I'll try and speak quite slowly, and so hopefully you can get the gist of what I'm saying. So I'm 43 years old, and I've been in recovery now for about 5.5 years. My drinking can be summed up in three types, and it's very simple. First, it was all right, then it wasn't, then it was terrifying. It's absolutely as simple as that. There's no other way of talking about it, and I find when you're speaking to people about recovery, it's best just to keep it simple. I drank to change the way I felt. I was never happy with who I was, and gradually over the course of time in recovery, I've learned to be happy with the person I am. I'm not always satisfied, but I'm happy. And I found that God doesn't always give me what I want, but he gives me what I need to survive, what I need to stay sober, what I need to be a better person. And my relationship with God is, it's special obviously to me, but it's not your relationship with God. Your relationship with God is special to you, and it needs to be your thing. This is my thing. I'm not asking you to be in my thing because it won't work for you. You know, you have to work out your own conceptions and all the rest of it. So firstly, I was born and raised a Catholic, and I went to church every single Sunday till I was about 16 or 17, maybe even longer, and also in my 20s when I was drinking very heavily. I went to church quite a bit, Sundays, all the rest of it. Now, when I first entered recovery, I looked at the 12 steps and saw the word God, and I thought, oh, this is great. I've got the inside track on this. I understand this because I'm a Catholic. I believe in God. It's fine. Let me make this absolutely clear now. My relationship with God since I entered recovery has changed dramatically. It is not a Catholic concept of God. It is my concept of God. That is very, very important. So it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish, Church of England, Catholic, whatever kind of ones you have in America, I don't know. There's a lot of different faiths. It doesn't matter. Your perception of God can be a chair. It doesn't matter as long as you don't believe that you run the show, because if you do, it's going to end in disaster. It's that simple. So anyway, while I was drinking and while I was going to church, it never once occurred to me to ask God to help me relieve me of my alcoholism. Never once. It just didn't. Now that's a problem, that I look back on now. Why? I knew I was an alcoholic. I knew I was in trouble. I knew I shouldn't drink the way I drank, but I did. Why did I do that? Was it just because I was powerless? Was it I didn't really understand anything? Now, I have also many, many different problems with this. I mean, the constant battle I had with myself when I had like days off work or something like this, I shouldn't drink today, or, I don't want to go to work tomorrow with a hangover, but I still did. I still did because I couldn't stop. And I just went and I drank. And in England, lots and lots of people drink socially. They meet up and they have a drink, and I never really got that. I didn't understand people drinking 2-3 drinks. What's that about? Who does that? What's a normal drinker? That's nonsense. If you drink, you drink to get drunk, don't you? That's the problem that I had, and that's the problem that we all have, and we're all basically the same, because a normal drinker will finish a day's work and will have a glass of wine to relax, or a beer to relax, or whatever it is to relax. When I drank, it excited me, and I wanted more and more and more and more. And the simplest way I can put this is if someone said to you, here is a blue pill, and you take this blue pill and it will make you feel amazing. It will be the best feeling in your life. I would turn around and say, give me 2 then. That's the way I describe my drinking, because it was never enough. 1 drink was too many, 1,000 wasn't enough. What's that about? It's obviously the mental illness that you have in your head. So that being said, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of a backlog on my life. I drove for a living. I started driving buses. Over here, if you Google London red buses, you'll see people. That's what I started doing. That was me. And I'd sit there, and I used to work early, so start like 4:30 in the morning, finish at 12:30, which is great for a drinker, isn't it? Brilliant. You can be in a pub by 1 o'clock. And every day I get up with a hangover, or maybe even still drunk, possibly. Actually, no, possibly about it, 100%. And I'd feel rough, and by sort of 6, 7 o'clock, I'll be making a list in my head. I'm not going to drink today because I'll get into trouble. I'll get drunk. I need to go home. I need to do my washing. I'll cook myself a nice meal. There's football on. I'll watch football. I'll do something. Then about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'll come off from my break. I'll have some breakfast. I'd feel better. By 11 o'clock, I was like, I'll have a couple. It'll be fine, and then go home. By 1 o'clock, I was just ready to get drunk. And that was my life for 3 years. And obviously my job changed. I still was driving, but circumstances changed. I started going away with work and stuff like that, and I would never drink. And people said to me, don't you drink? And I was like, no, I don't drink when I'm working. I don't drink, I always thought, how magnanimous of me, how great is that of me to say I don't drink when I'm working? But the real reason why I didn't drink is because I knew once I started, I couldn't stop. So I wasn't really being great. I was just, I can't do that. And obviously there was always the reward of when I finished the work that I'd done and finished with the group I was with, I could drink. So, people also say as well, you never get better from alcoholism, it's just in the background, your disease, doing press-ups, doing push-ups, doing whatever, whatever people say, and I get with that because about 2 months before I actually entered recovery, I did, for charity, gave up drinking for a month and, raised some money for cancer research, whatever. And the first drink, I went 42 days without a drink, and believe me, I counted. Believe me, I counted that. And when it came to having a drink, I never drunk like that before in my life. It was just frightening. I got smashed, and for about 5 days, because I thought in my head I must have deserved to get it. It was just crazy. So, if I had a drink now, I'd probably die. I feel this very clearly. So why do it? And let's be honest. When you're in recovery, not every day's a great day. Joining Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't suddenly fix your life. It takes a lot of work. And some days, the only thing that stops me from drinking is what I know is if I had a drink, I would never come back to AA because I know the way I am. And that terrifies me. So sometimes just fear keeps me from not having a drink. But I have to take that fear and I have to address it. My first sponsor, when we were going through the work and blah, 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 and you'd hear in the rooms, oh, so-and-so's relapsed, or so-and-so's gone back out again, or so-and-so's gone to do some more research, etc., 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 whatever you heard. And I'd say to him, oh, man, why's so-and-so gone out and had another drink? And his answer was always the same: dishonesty or fear. Those are the two things. It's as simple as that. If you're not honest with yourself, you're going to have a drink. If you're scared, you're going to have a drink. Don't be scared. Just don't be scared. Because you can do this. You have this within you. It is hard work, and I will be talking to people now who've got far more time in than me, and I'll also be talking to the new person. And all my shares and all my experience is aimed at you new people. But you have this journey ahead of you, which is fantastic. Because don't ever underestimate the benefit of hard work. And it is hard work to start with, and it's scary to start with. And if you, I remember as well saying to my sponsor, this is mad, I can't do this. My sobriety date is the 5th of April. So, like, you know, I'm in about 2 months. It's the longest I've ever been without a drink, and I'm going to him, I can't do this. I'm going to Australia for my sister's wedding in March. And he went, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? He said, this is June, July. Why are you thinking about March? Think about today. And when you wake up tomorrow, think about tomorrow. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I can do this. Because you're breaking it down into bite-sized, manageable pieces. That is what it is. If I actually sat here and thought, oh, you know, I'm never going to have another drink again and I'm going to die at the age of 82, that's mad. It's mental. But if someone says, you know, are you going to have a drink today? Well, no. You have a drink tomorrow? No, probably not. But what I'll do is I'll see today out, I'll have a sleep, and I'll wake up, and I'll make another decision. And every day, when you do your morning prayers, or whatever it is you do, make that decision. That is all you have to do, day in, day out. And it sounds a lot, but it isn't. And I know a lot of people, and I know that AA in America is very, very, you know, God orientated, and that's kind of why I've spoken a bit about it in this. But I know a lot of people who don't hit their knees every morning. I don't hit my knees every morning, but I always take a little 2 minutes, a little 5 minutes, whatever it is, just to say, okay, we're doing good today. You know, everything is cool, and we're not going to drink today. And, you know, there's other problems I have in my life. I suffer from depression. I have a bit of anxiety, blah-de-blah, yada-yada. But I tell you something now, I've always had those things. And those things are much more manageable when I'm sober. They're much more manageable when I'm in recovery. They're much more manageable when my head is straight. These are all just symptoms of the way that I am. Now, I'm not saying that if any of you guys suffer from mental health issues or anything like that, it's because of alcoholism. It's not. But that's what I feel for me. If you got, you know, but it will never help. If you have anxiety, you know, we don't calm down with a drink. It excites us. We're off. We want to go. We want to, you know, party. We want to drive 200 miles to see friends drunk out of our heads. Stupid shit like that. You know, it's simple. And what I always look at was the mental torment that I always went through drinking. All the time. It was a constant battle of wills. Now, why would you want to do that? Or why would you even think, oh, you know, I've had, like, you know, a bit of time out, maybe I can drink normally? Because you can't. Because that battle of wills will rear its head again, and you will be there in a bar or in a pub or wherever it is, or at home, or whatever you're doing, going, I'll just have two. And when you finish two, I want another one, but I can't. What's the point? Who wants to go through that nonsense? Because that's all it is. Normal drinkers don't do that. They don't have that malady in their head. We have that. And that's what makes us alcoholic. It's not how much we drink. It's not how often we drink. It's what we do when we drink and how it makes us feel. I wanted to change the way I felt. I had a hole in me that I found is God-shaped, because God filled that hole. And he came into my life in a completely different guise to the one I thought he was, and saved my life. I've had a sponsee now for 4.5 years, and he still says I saved his life. And I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. You opened yourself up to a higher power, and he saved your life with some help from you. I just showed you how to do it. I just basically went, here's a knife and fork, go and eat your dinner. That's all it is. And it's one alcoholic helping another. It's not a big thing. It's not a selfless act. We do this to keep us sober. We do this to help ourselves. I refuse point blank to talk about what I did when I was drunk, how I behaved when I was drunk, because you all get the picture. You know, we've all done it. You know, you don't need to hear stories of what I got up to, but you need to hear how I recovered from a completely hopeless situation called alcoholism. I was 38 when I entered recovery. I'm now 43. And if I carry on drinking, I don't say I'd be dead, but I could be. But I'd be in bad shape. I'd be in very, very bad shape, and I certainly wouldn't. And I wouldn't enjoy the person I am today, or what, you know, what little pleasures I have in life. Like, for instance, today's a Sunday. I'm sat and I'm calm. My wife's worked very hard this week. She's upstairs. She's just having a sleep. I'm watching some TV. We're going to have some dinner. And we're going to chill. Now, before, I'd have been in the pub because Sunday was a day for me drinking and seeing all these people who I thought were my friends and etc, etc. And she would have had to be with me, and if she wasn't with me, then why didn't she want to be with me? Well, maybe because people don't want to spend so much time in a fucking pub. Sorry for swearing. But this is the way, and this is the way it made me feel. Because alcohol, when I started drinking, took over everything. Everything in the world, it took over. And it left me feeling empty. So once I entered recovery, I started to work really hard at what I needed to do, but I just did as I was told. Really, I mean, when it came to my step 4, which is obviously the hard work, and everyone thinks, oh, this is a nightmare, I just ploughed on with it. I had some, you know, in my day I had spare time, and I just went bam, bam, and ran it out. And I also kept a diary for the first couple of months as well, every day, just write. So I actually physically put some time aside for think about how my day had gone, which now I don't do so much. But, you know, obviously your step 4 is a big, big step 10. So you can do step 10 like every day or every other day or every week or whatever it is you do. You'd have to write it down, you do it in your head, but you need to do it and clear it out. But you don't necessarily need to share it with your sponsor or another person, but you need to deal with it. It's like Eminem said, clean out your closet, boom, day, just clean it out. If there's a problem that you've got in your life, you need to deal with it, you need to move on, right? Because it will destroy you. We are these people. And I'll tell you what will destroy me more than anything, and that's self-pity, dishonesty, self-loathing. I never used to like myself. I hated the way I was. You know, my wife and I could have an argument, and I knew I was right. Not every time, obviously, but say I did know I was right. But when I was drinking, I always slunk back because I knew I was a bad person. I never felt. Now, if we have an argument or have a discussion, whatever it is, and I feel my point is valid, I can stand my ground because I respect myself. I'm not saying, you know, let's turn it into a full-blown row, because you can also just turn around and go, do you know what, this really doesn't matter. What do you want to be? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Well, me personally, I'd like to be both, but it doesn't always work like that. I feel very weird doing a share like this, but, you know, I'm very pleased and proud that Ashley asked me to do it. I find it fantastic. I'm going to try and upload this and send her the link. I hope it all works. I hope all you wonderful people stay sober. Love yourselves is very important. Work your steps. Listen to your sponsor. Get out there and help others. Helping others is a massive thing for us, because we need to be the right people. We need to be people of our words. And now, I am a person of my word. If I'm not interested in somebody or something, I will not, you know, when I meet someone, haven't seen for a while, I won't say to them, how are you? Because if I don't care, I don't care. You listen, next time somebody asks you, how are you? Start to tell them and see how quickly they switch off. Because people aren't genuinely interested, they just do it for politeness. So be people of your word. If you want to know how someone is, listen to them. If you want to do a favour for someone and they ask you to do it, do it. Do these things, do these small things. Live your life like good people, because we are good people. Just because we're alcoholics doesn't make us bad. We just feel we're bad, and we ain't. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. As I say, I'm going to upload this. Hopefully Ashley will get the link, and that'll all be cool. But if you want to give me any feedback, Ashley has my Facebook, and, you know, love to connect with any of you guys. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And today, I think I'm about 30 days off 2,000 days. But obviously, that's a long time away, so who cares? Let's just deal with today, yeah? So, all the best, everybody. It's been great chatting and great sharing my experience, strength and hope, and new people today who I've never met. have helped keep me sober just for today. So thanks very much. Stay blessed.